for technology and policy development, transparent and collaborative governance. The multi-stakeholder approach of the internet governance is characterized by openness, transparency, and open voting participation. Together, we make up the stakeholder groups in internet governance: the private sector, government, civil society, the technical community, academia, intergovernmental and international organizations. Therefore, building on these processes, we too, as stakeholder groups, utilizing internet tools in our own local context, have chosen the theme for this year's IGF, building economic resilience for digital sovereignty in the Gambian context. Derived from the 15th West African Internet Governance Forum, to reflect the ways in which West African member states can achieve economic resilience to create opportunities and growth where digital inclusion is achieved. Together as members of the IGF, we are gathered here today to facilitate multi-stakeholder dialogue on public policy issues to help inform and influence the decision-making process in the Gambia. Therefore, on this note, I would like to call on Haddija Jawara, the Gambia's IGF chair, to give the opening remarks.
Okay, everyone, just look at I hope it's visually well provided. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, PS Camara, Deputy Chief of Practice, Freedom House, Demba, Kande, Head of Solution Hub, UNDP, Adama, Jallow. Members of the IGF Steering Committee, I see the whole team sitting over there. Morning. Distinguished participants, IGF stakeholders, media here present. Good morning to everyone, and thank you all for coming. It's with great honor to welcome you all to the Bank IGF. Today we gather to address one of the most pressing issues of our time, which is the future of the internet and the impact it has on our economy, resilience, and digital sovereignty. As we delve into the realm of internet governance, we must recognize one of the key fundamental principles that underpins the crucial domain, which is the multi-stakeholder approach. When we say the National Internet Governance Forum, what we are talking about is the multi-stakeholder approach, which is very crucial to internet governance issues. This is because it brings diverse range of voices and perspectives, and even if you look at the culture, you can see all of us are from very different backgrounds and very diverse backgrounds also. And it's this is the cornerstone of internet governance. It is through inclusive dialogue, decision-making, and collaborative action that we can collectively shape the future of the internet. A future that must uphold the values of openness, security, and diversity, and access for all. The Internet Governance Forum was born out of the World Summit of Information Society and has been a beacon of global collaboration since its inception in 2006. It has provided a platform for people discussion, shared experience, and the formation of policies that promote the growth and development of the internet worldwide. From the regional IGS to the national one, this global forum has allowed countries like ours to actively participate in shaping the digital landscape. The Gambia has embarked on the journey of internet governance since 2010. We have witnessed the power of collective engagement and transformative potential of the internet. However, we face challenges along the way. Before we all remember, during the last meeting, we had issues of restriction on internet access. Some of our liberties online were stifled, and we came out of this. The group we renewed, and I remember after the transition, one of the, even in the morning, we were talking about one of the best ideas we had, and the West Africa idea, and which has been a key which has been one of the achievements of the idea, the grouping and collaborating again. Today, as we gather as a team, building economic resilience and digital sovereignty in the Gambian context, we aim to chart a course that empowers our country to leverage the opportunities presented by the digital age, and which is reflected on the team acts of things we have here today. And we seek to foster an environment where digital sovereignty is paramount, a space where our data, our economy, and our digital identity are safeguarded, and allowing us to participate actively in the regional and continental initiatives such as the West Africa IGF and the global IGF and the Africa IGF. Throughout the next 2 years, we will address our critical soft needs such as cybersecurity and digital governance, emerging technologies, rights and freedom, universal access, and meaningful connectivity. These topics lie at our heart of effort to build a resilient and sovereign digital economy that can strive economic growth, social development, and inclusive governance. But before I conclude, I must show appreciation to certain institutions and individuals in this room. I will start by extending my appreciation and thanks to the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, Camara and team. Thank you very much for your support. We send you an email, and I think in less than 30 minutes you replied. You gave us a meeting, and you went through with your promises, the poll, everything. Most of the logistics were funded by the Ministry of Digital Economy. So a huge thank to you, Minister, and your team. Thank you very much. We'll move on to the members of my steering committee. I will give a special thanks to Bilal and Sapons. These two people, I'll start with them. They didn't look at the fact that I'm way younger than them. Anything I tell them, I will call Bilal, and even if I text that people children, they can, I know what you want, you don't even have to finish, and they will do it. Thank you so much for being an amazing person. Thank you, Bilal. One is not actually, but every day, I think every day I will send him a tax, and before the end of the day, he will finish that tax, or he will get back to me with a positive feedback and everything. Thank you so much. My head of planning, Mary, that's you a lot. Thank you very much. My DP is running around somewhere. Amadou, thank you very much. I harass you every day, and I will fire you every day. Thank you. Where are my two amazing ladies, Madeline and where's Maria? Those two people are super active. I think one day was the time I called Madeline. I told her, Madeline, I feel like I have given you too much. She was like, oh, Kande, it's okay, it's fine. Mariam single-handedly handled the youth IGF. And the rest of the steering committee team, thank you so much. You guys have been amazing. The only thing I did throughout the whole preparation of the IGF is just to call and follow up. They were doing everything. And our head of logistics, I won't forget Adija. She lost her dad, she's not there. Our condolence to the whole family. And it has been great too. Thank you all. If I don't call your name, I'm sorry, but you all have been very amazing. Thank you all. And our partners, UNDP, Freedom House, thank you for the support. Thank you all. And once again, a warm welcome to everyone. Enjoy the rest of the 2 days, and we hope to have a meaningful engagement. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Haddija, for the wonderful opening remarks. I would now like to invite Mrs. Adama Jallow to the UNDP Head of Solution, Martin, to give a statement on behalf of UNDP.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Adama Jallow. Usually, my head of administration should be the one doing the speeches, but unfortunately today, due to prior engagements, they are not available to do this. So I'll do it on behalf of Adama Jallow from the Accelerator Lab. Good morning. PS, Permanent Secretary, Communications and Digital Economy. PS Demba, Camara, stakeholders of the IGF ecosystem here attending, chairperson and members of the National Internet Governance Forum Steering Committee, speakers, sponsors of partners and distinguished youths, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of UNDP, all protocols respectfully observed. It is with great honor to be here today to be given this platform to give the remarks and welcome you all once again to the 9th Internet Governance Forum with the overarching theme, Building Economic Resilience and Digital Sovereignty in the Gambian context. As we are aware that this year's main theme and sub-themes are derived from the 15th West African Internet Governance Forum, which is I need to understand planned to take place on the 25th and the 26th of May in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire. This year's main theme reflects the ways in which the West African member states can achieve economic resilience within a thriving digital economy that can create opportunities and growth where digital inclusivity is achieved, irrespective of where one lives in the region. While reflecting on this, on the engagement of youth, women, persons with disability, and partners to achieve a more just, inclusive, sustainable world and to meet the Sustainable Development Goals. As we know globally, the United Nations Internet Governance Forum sought to bring people together from various stakeholders as equals in discussions on public policy issues relating to the internet. While there are no negotiations outcomes, the IGF informs and inspires those with the policymaking power in both the public and the private sectors. At their annual meeting, delegates discuss, exchange information, and share good practices with each other. And in this regard, I urge all stakeholders here present to leverage the IGF platform as a platform to have common understanding of how to maximize internet opportunities and address risks and challenges that may arise or that arise. Internet governance has been continuously evolving through multi-stakeholder approach since the inception of its first Internet Governance Forum in Athens in 2006. The first IGF was established after the deliberation of the World Summit on Information Society in Tunis 2005. And this year's global IGF, which will be held in Kyoto, Japan, from the 8th to the 12th of October, 2023, which is the 18th global IGF, with an overarching theme, the internet we want, empowering all people. Looking at the context of the global IGF, to our sub-regional IGF and to our national IGF, one thing that is very well and resonates in the main themes is empowering economic resilience. And this can only be built on a solid digital base in today's world as we experience, explore, and co-live with other emerging new technologies in the advent of the digital era. Hence, the internet being a catalyst to connect the world in one global platform. This will be the motive for the United Nations Global Digital Compact, through which the Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy submitted its entries last year in the global IGF, which was held in Addis Ababa, and the United Nations Future Summit slated to happen in September 2024. Our key programs, International Internet Governance Forum, which draws us the UNDP on feedbacks from national perspective feeding into the global scheme. UNDP, through its Accelerator Lab, in good support to the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, commits to its continuous support to technology, digital-enabled innovations, and resources to be embedded in our developmental programs and frameworks to impact public innovations. Development is continuously changing, so are we expected to resonate with emerging trends, digital prospects. It is key for UNDP as we recognize the need for future smart development in building forward better and ensuring inclusive transformative change. To accelerate and scale up results, we are investing in three powerful enablers: the strategic innovation, development finance, digitalizations, under all which falls under internet governance. Based on this, the UNDP Accelerator Lab supports the national IGF in the Gambia as a collective intelligence platform to engage the public and all stakeholders in an inclusive multi-stakeholder collaborative approach from a bottom-up approach to address existing and emerging issues and trends in the use of technology and the internet in the Gambian context. To reach solution-driven resolutions and recommendations that can affect policies and ensure accelerated transformative changes. UNDP commends the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy as it plays a critical role in boosting the national GF, significantly contributing to making the Gambia a functional digital economy. I wish to thank the government of the Gambia for the first time to have dedicated the ministry a digital economy with it into the purpose. It's forward. Internet governance is the development and applications of government, the private sector, the civil society, academia, in their respective roles of shared principles, norms, rules, decision-making, and making procedures and programs that shape the evolution and the use of the internet. Based on what the internet governance entails, it is noteworthy to mention that the National IGF Steering Committee works with all stakeholders to influence governmental ICT policies and its use and fully entrenched in the sectors of the Gambian economy from grassroots level and within the various regions of the Gambia. In a closing note, I urge all participants of this year's IGF to be interactive and ensure progressive contributions are being made to enable substantive policy recommendations that are captured for a transformative change. UNDP through its Accelerator Lab is honored to associate and support the national IGF. I thank you all distinguished participants, especially the youth, women, the panelists, facilitators, and partners. And ultimately to the IGF Steering Committee for facilitating an informative and progressive forum. On this note, you are all welcome once again, and wish you all a good celebration. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adama Jallow. We would now like to invite Mr. Demba Kande, Deputy Chief of Party Freedom House, to give an opening statement.
Morning, everyone. The moderator, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy, the UNDP Accelerator Lab, Adama and Haddija Jawara, IGF Steering Committee Chair, and my dearest delegates of the 9th Internet Government Forum of the Gambia. On behalf of promoting rights and justice in the Gambia, it's an honor to address such a distinguished gathering of individuals who share a common perspective of the internet for freedom and democracy in the information age. In today's world, the internet has become a critical component of our lives, transforming the way we live, the way we work, and the way we communicate. Briefly, Promoting Rights and Justice Initiative is fully funded by the American government through USAID. It represents one of the biggest US government investment in the Gambia currently. It is jointly implemented by Freedom House and the American Bar Association Rule of Law Initiative. Among other things, it responds to the Gambia government's National Development Plan objective, strategic pillar 7 on governance. We all know that the internet is a powerful tool today that enables us to access information, express ourselves, and connect with people from all corners of the world. However, it's also a space that requires constant vigilance to ensure that it remains free, open, and accessible to all. Therefore, as we struggle and continue to improve on our regulations for the internet, we must remember what former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan said, that if one is to err, one must err on the side of liberty and freedom. The internet has brought unprecedented access to information and has given individuals such as you and I the power to hold the powerful to account. However, with this power comes great responsibility, and we must work together to ensure that the internet remains safe, secure, and accessible to all. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the critical role of all stakeholders in the information sector cannot be overstated, and thus the multi-stakeholder approach of the IGF. Government, civil society, the private sector, and individuals all have a responsibility to protect internet freedom and promote democracy. For example, government must ensure that their policies and regulations do not restrict in free flow information and ideas. They must work to protect the rights of internet users, particularly marginalized groups, and ensure that they are not subjected to discrimination of any kind. The private sector, for instance, must also play a critical role in promoting internet freedom and democracy. They must respect the rights of users and ensure that their services and products are designed with respect to user privacy and security in mind. They must work to promote transparency, accountability, particularly when it comes to the use of our individual and personal data. Civil society and the media, as well as individuals, must be active participants in the fight for internet freedom and democracy. We all must remain vigilant in monitoring and reporting all and any abuses or violations of individual rights. We must work to reduce errors and violations and educate others on the importance of internet freedom and democracy, and advocate for policies and regulations that protect these fundamental values. In conclusion, let me quickly thank the organizing committee for putting all this together and enable us to come here and have great conversation. I hope that this will engender meaningful conversation that will result in meaningful action for policy framework in the Gambia. And let's remind each other to work together to promote and protect internet freedom. We should always be vigilant in ensuring that the internet remains safe, secure, and accessible to all. And I wish you all a very fruitful deliberation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Demba. Now we will invite the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, Mr. Lamin Camara, to give a statement on behalf of the ministry.
MC Communication. First of all, I want to greet by saying Assalamu alaikum and good morning to you all. I want to acknowledge the presence of Madeline, former Minister of Ministry. For the Alliance, it's like every presence. Also want to acknowledge the team together. I would like anyone family national internet. I also want to acknowledge the representative from the UNDP as a lab. And representative from the House, and we will share our meeting. All other delegates present here today. So President Isaac, the CEO of this, and all of the proposals. I am pleased to join you today on this important event, bringing ICT stakeholders together for the betterment of the internet. As you may recall, the establishment of the Internet Governance Forum, IGF, is one of the key outputs of the World Summit on Information Society, introduced in 2005 series. This further culminated into the creation of national IGFs to provide a platform for policy dialogue and discuss issues related to key elements of internet governance. The goal of this process is to foster sustainability, robustness, security, stability, and quality government of the internet. Over the years, national IGF has proven to be a valuable platform for information sharing and national dialogue on topics critical to the development of the internet. Today marks the 9th year since the start of the national IGF began. However, affordable access and connectivity still remains a challenge for many people in the country, despite significant investments in infrastructure. Therefore, we need policy intervention and government to be enabling environment and also service providers to also work towards making the internet affordable in the country. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, internet and digital technologies have advanced more rapidly than any innovation in our history, having huge impact in every aspect of our lives. However, it's been also used for the wrong reasons. I think when we talk about security and free usage of the internet, we should also talk about the ills and how do we combat that so that everybody that needs to use the internet use it freely, openly, without any hindrance. And we've seen internet being used for child abuse. We've seen internet being used for other crimes. We've seen internet in a government context where people use it to settle scores. And I always say the reason we don't have some of these things censored because our languages, we don't have any programs written in our languages to be able to identify some of these foul languages we have on the internet. It is sad that you see people that use it as a platform with all kinds of vulgar language being made on the internet. So how do we do that? How do we address as Gambia? You don't expect the West to think of these things that are responsible. Our young ones, how do we develop a program or software that we're able to detect these things so they can fish them out and stop this vulgar language being used on the internet against our own people, our own selves? I think when we have IGF, these are the things, these are the ills we should look at and see how do we combat them. As much as we feed into the regional IGF and eventually the global IGF, which will look at more global issues, but the IGFs we do in our country, our partners should see how we implement them within our country. So I think this is something I would want to challenge this gathering. I mean, that we see ourselves doing something about this. The internet is a catalyst for us to achieve socio-economic development through digital empowerment and digital technologies, and the internet are serving as engines of growth, provide us with essential services including improved support to e-government and prominent digital economies. We've seen the proliferation of fintech businesses in the country. I think we've seen a lot of platforms being created, and it is very useful. And as the mandate of the ministry with the internet, very promoting this thing in a very aggressive manner to ensure we quickly have a space in the digital landscape. Powered by the internet, digital jobs, e-commerce, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, cloud computing, big data, edge computing, etc., are growing even during crisis. Hence the need for us to define enabling mechanisms for their adoption. And by extension, the ministry is developing a cloud policy and the usage of cloud. And that policy is soon be reviewed and candidate for adoption. For economic resilience and the use of it for all, we need an excellent internet ecosystem. Thus, the theme of the 9th National Internet Governance Forum is most integral, which is building economic resilience and digital sovereignty every year. Building economic resilience and digital sovereignty will mean addressing the connectivity challenges, development of the data center, and securing our digital ecosystem, which cybersecurity is paramount. Digital sovereignty recognizes the power of organizations to have the right to control their own data and use it to gain autonomy. By putting the control in our own hands, digital sovereignty can help protect data privacy, promote digital literacy, and ensure that we can make informed and empowered decisions. Hence, the 6 pillars on which organizations or governments can achieve digital sovereignty, which are protection of the data, software, and infrastructure in the companies. Pillar 2, data privacy. Excellent access to personal and sensitive data can be a serious problem, not just for hackers, but also for improper use of foreign governments. That is why data protection regulations like the data protection law have strict requirements for the protection of personal data. Residence. Data residence is the requirement that data must remain within the confines of the country's physical boundaries, ensuring that it is not transferred, processed, or stored in any other country without our knowledge. Number 4, locality. Locality refers to the geographical and physical location of data and associated infrastructure necessary to support data processing. Number 5, authority means to have control over who have access to written information, allowing us to protect sensitive data. And the ownership, that's the entire environment where data applications and workloads are managed and controlled by the data. So these are key principles we need to bear in mind when dealing with data. While building resilience is important, we are challenged by access and reliance on the civil is so many people. Leaving us vulnerable and majority unconnected when the system goes down. At the same time, connected are confronted daily with poor quality misinformation and cyber attacks, and data fraud more rampant than ever. Collectively, we must step up to deliver a digital future that addresses these failings. And to this end, we have embarked on structuring the newly created Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy by setting up new directorates in charge of cybersecurity, and one in charge of telecoms and postal services, and another in charge of e-government. Spearhead the development of securing accessible and reliable digital ecosystem in the country. Therefore, to increase access, connectivity, availability, and reliability on our internet, our ministry is working tirelessly, securing a second sovereign data. Furthermore, we have identified the Tier 4 data center as part of our priorities to create and own, unpreserved our data. The ministry is